Question 1. Bones, general features. First I would like to just mention the function of the bones. Bones are essential for locomotion, movement. Together with muscles and joints, they are the locomotor apparatus. Bones give protection, and they contain bone marrow, which is the organ of hemopoiesis. Bones serve as a reserve for calcium and phosphorus, and they provide the central axis of the body, which means they give the support to the weight of the body and they shape the body. As you can see, the body has a skeleton. You see very clearly that the skeleton shapes the body. And we have the axial skeleton, which is in yellow, and the appendicular skeleton, which is in green, which is the limbs and the pelvis. The bones are divided into 5 classes, or 6 classes. Even though they are so different, they are still classified into general classes. You have long bones, like the femur and the humerus. You have short bones, like the carpal bones in the wrist. You have flat bones, like the ribs. You have irregular bones, like the vertebrae and the pelvis. And you have sesamoid bones, like the patella, and you also have some sesamoid bones in the hand. And you have pneumatic bones. For example, the maxillary bone in the skull is a pneumatic bone. Now a little bit about each. The long bone consists of a diaphysis or shaft and 2 ends that are called epiphyses. The diaphysis has a central cavity, which is called the medullary cavity. And the medullary cavity is lined with endosteum and is filled with bone marrow. Short bones also consist the pneumatic bones have air-filled spaces lined by mucosa, and they are called sinuses. And now for the composition of bone. Each bone is composed of bony tissue covered with periosteum and contains bone marrow on the inside. You have 2 kinds of bony tissue. You have compact bone and spongy bone, which is on the spongy bone is always covered by a compact bone. The spongy bone is a meshwork of trabeculae with intercommunicating spaces filled with bone marrow. In the shaft of long bones you find yellow bone marrow, and in the epiphysis you find red bone marrow. The red bone marrow is the hemopoietic tissue, and you also find it in flat and short bones. For example, and also in some irregular bones like the hip bone. The periosteum is a fibrous membrane that is consisting of 2 layers, an outer and inner layer, easy as that. And they protect the bone and they nourish the bone. And they also provide the cells for growth and regeneration. So it's the outermost layer of the bone. And it covers the entire bone except for the articular surfaces. There you have hyaline cartilage instead of periosteum. Then you have blood supply of bones. This is a nutrient artery. It's called a nutrient artery. and goes in through the nutrient foramen of the bone. In this bone, long bone, as an example. And long bones are supplied by nutrient arteries and periosteal arteries and epiphyseal arteries. Irregular bones are supplied by periosteal arteries and nutrient arteries, and short and flat bones are supplied only by periosteal vessels. And then you have the process of development of bony tissue, which is called the ossification. You have a center of ossification, where the ossification begins, and you have a primary and a secondary ossification center. So here you see a sequence of how the long bone develops, and the primary center starts in the shaft, and then after some time it will start in the epiphysis, secondary ossification center. This is the epiphyseal plate that you will see in children during an X-ray, and here you have the epiphyseal line, which is visible from 12 to 20 years of age. And so you can tell by an X-ray if it's a child or if it's an adult, which is if the bone came from a child or an adult. And that's it for the first question.